The issue is a technical one. I'm not talking politics. I'm not talking NDC. It's a technical one. What is E-Levy? Are we so desperate that we are beginning to tax investments? That's the question, right? And those who follow me, Twitter, I ask, what is the difference? What is the difference if I put my money under my pillow, right, and go back and take it and spend? And me taking that money to the bank in my savings account in particular, and then I spend. And thanks to the electronics, the young people, instead of the bank, they put it in their pocket, in their what? Cell phone, wallet. It's the same savings, right? It's the same savings. So you don't tax savings. So when I take my money and I invest it in this hotel and I make profit, I pay corporate income tax. But you don't tax my savings. If I take my money from my bank and I go and start trading, you see AMA and others coming to collect, you know what, their levies and the rest. That's when I pay. They are assuming that you are paying the tax on income. When you are paid, your PAYE has been deducted. All of us here, we are employees. Your tax is deducted at source. And then you take the difference. Government has taken the income tax already. Then you take the difference and you go and put it on your wallet. And then you transfer it to your poor mother, and then you are saying that you want to tax that too. After you have taken the tax. This is the tax on tax, which is being explained. I think we should get the philosophical point clear. Right? Now, if you take that money and you buy T-bills, we don't tax T-bills. That's where they tax it. Look, we have a very rational tax system, and let's not destroy it. That's the point we are making. And these things were corrected in the 1980s and 1990s, you know, leading to a lot of pain and bloodshed and others, you know, by demonstrations and the rest. But all of us Ghanaians went through the pain in streamlining those structures. Now, when you take that savings, and you come and book a hotel here, you know, you go and buy food in the supermarkets and whatever, you are doing what? You are spending. You are consuming. This time you are not investing. So it is the spending that attracts VAT, whether the commodity you are buying is imported or domestic. It is the spending that attracts import duty, if it is imports. You see? And it's not on domestic. And it is the spending that attracts, you know, other taxes and levies. Not the spending. Not the savings. Right? So apart from that, we are killing initiative. We are killing an industry. Right? Bank of Ghana acknowledged that the electronic, you know, read these statements carefully, the one that was issued by Bank of Ghana. They said that they had used, you know, the part of the growth of that sector as an intervention, as one of the interventions during the COVID. Is there. Right? Is there. Provided various interventions within the mobile money space. For example, temporarily suspending transaction fees on minimum transactions of 100. You see where the 100 is coming from? And increase, but that was positive, a positive 100. And increasing wallet limits to promote electronic transactions as part of COVID protocols. Is this the initiative we want to be taxing? By the way, so those fees and others are attracting communication service tax. It wasn't mentioned, right? Communication service tax. They're attracting VAT. Now we have other, and let's not forget that the levy era, this is a levy era. Of course, we did a levy, ESLA, right? Which should have gone off by now, 5 years, it's not gone. So it was increased, sorry. I think okay. So yeah, there was an increase in personal income tax in 2018, 2019. You remember it, from 30% Personal income tax used to be 55%, corporate income tax. In the ERP SAP era, it took a lot to reduce it. And when the target at the time was to be like the middle income and advanced countries, no more than 25%, the top marginal rate. We got to 30, and then we took it back to 35. Is it progressive or regressive? You have increase in rates, and we extended the ESLA, remember the nuisance tax, right? The rates for ESLA levy was increased twice, 2018 and 2019 or 2020. ESLA was increased. We issue ESLA bonds, and instead of 5 years now, we issue 7 year, 10 year. It means that we are extending the tax over the period. That's what it means. If you go and take an ESLA bond, a loan, it means that the ESLA is not lapsing. It means that the tax has been extended, not directly, openly, but through going to take a bond. That is what it means. So that's one levy. Then we blocked input tax credit. And let's be careful. When we were blocking the input tax credits, get funded, we made it straight levies. Some of us predicted that you are going to encourage evasion and avoidance. Today, VAT is being overtaken by income tax. Right? Cement complained, breweries complained, if you remember, when that thing was done. You are blocking, and when you block it, they add it to cost. It increases prices. That itself was a revenue measure that never materialized because consumers react. If you can afford, and businesses don't like paying higher taxes. So that itself was another tax measure. Now, we also have the reversal of the benchmark, which will increase. Then we have FinSec levy. Despite ESLA, we now have a financial sector levy for the cleanup. ESLA was meant for the cleanup. So what is this FinSec coming from? ESLA is supposed to bring 45 billion, the ESLA report itself, by 2025, right? And if true, the debt is 21 billion, why can't we take a loan of, for 30 billion and clear it, right? So this is another debt that is coming. Then you have the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy, right, which was put in place and never removed, and a new one was added. You have the COVID-19 levy, yet we say that the economy is growing because we are in a post-COVID era. So why is the levy not going away? And we had 5 billion, nearly 5 billion, right, to cater for COVID alone. IMF 1 billion, right, the loan. You can add SDR, 1 billion, right? World Bank and the rest gave us 600, nearly 800, million. Bank of Ghana, 1.7 billion, right? And counting. For one crisis. Yes, we understand that it's severe. So we are saying that all these have been added. Then we have the Delta Fund, we have sanitation and pollution levy, all of which used to come from the one VAT, the one import duty, and the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, we used to have something called super sales tax. We used to have other service taxes. We don't have time. During the question time, I can read it out for you. You can go and, the Service Tax Act, it specifies the number of services. Then it was extended, the Service Tax Act 529, before the VAT came. And then we said, let's have a uniform consumption tax on, instead of all these multiple levies at different rates, let's have a uniform tax on everybody's consumption expenditure, and that is VAT. Today we are going back, right? Post kumipreko. We have not taken off the VAT, but we are going back and imposing, those levies again. The very sales taxes that were, and interestingly, I'll read it for you. One of the innovations, anytime there was an innovation, two of them, let me point out, telcos, mobile phone, that's when they were started, Act 529. That was when it was coming, right? And then the other one was what we call DSTV today. It used to be what? Yes. Service tax was put on it. But we are saying, let's use VAT so that it doesn't matter Okay, so if today it is telcos that are booming, when oil services, because we are having oil and want to be a hub, when oil services too start rising and they are paying VAT, you are going to put another levy on it? Does it mean any sector that is emerging, we are going to be putting anything on? So there's a professional point about what is being said. It's not all politics. It's about tax reform. It's about the regime. Our main tax handlers are excise. It punishes you if you go and drink alcohol. It punishes you if you go and smoke. You know, you bring expensive cars and you want to show off. Those are the ones that attract excise. Import duty on only imports to protect our local industries. And that is why the benchmark was anti-domestic industry, because it reduced the cost of imports and allowed a lot of things to come in. And therefore, it's local industry that became less protected. That's the meaning of the benchmark. Import duty is protective. We have VAT, which we all pay. But we say, wait a minute, let's not put it on education, basic education, textbooks, health, basic drugs, and the rest. So we exempt that, right? Then we have the income tax, right? So these are our tax handles. If we have a problem, it is not a revenue problem, it's an expenditure problem, right? Like the way we had others like single spine and the rest. Who says public servants did not deserve, a higher pay? But it was hurting the economy. So there was a pause. And therefore, the rationalization of single span after the mistake should have continued. Today, we are not even able to negotiate with labor, despite, that policy. So, in closing, I just want to also agree that, the essence of a program, whether it's a homegrown program or a center program, frankly, is to tackle everything that has been said. It's not to just use one handle to try and resolve all the problems. No. Taxation alone will not resolve it. And all that we are doing is distorting. And I'm saying there's a lesson from the straight levies, which we thought was going to bring in a lot of revenue. You see, the reason is that, take this hotel. We have come to rent. They will charge us VAT, right? Then the VAT that they charge on the drinks and things which we are paying for, which they charge on the furniture and everything, it's a consumption tax. It's not a business tax, right? It's a consumption tax, not a business tax. So we say, if you pay something on it for business purposes, that's not the purpose of the tax. Let's give you back a credit or a refund. So you offset it against what you are charging the organizers of PFM Tax Africa. We block it, thinking that if we block it, the one we block will bring in more money. It never brought in money. Because either demand goes down for those products or you encourage evasion and avoidance. And so for many people, maybe the banks and the rest, the affluent, very soon, then predict checks will come back again. People will not do mobile transfer. Checks, I'd rather write my check, right? Than do a transfer for using my wallet. I'd rather ask my bank to go and do the transfer, right? And this is what we call avoidance. If I can avoid the tax, I'll avoid it. To put it crudely, I'll go to the lorry station and give money to somebody traveling to go and give to my old lady, because the impact could be high. So quite apart from that, we are saying it is a tax on tax. It is a tax which is regressive. It's more regressive than the VAT, which was a kumipreko sing song, because it's taxing consumption. Remember, when I take it and I spend, I'm going to pay the VAT, I'm going to pay all of those things. And in addition, I'm going to pay again, a tax on my savings. After you have paid, you have collected a PAYE from my salary already, which I'm just saying.